Welcome back. We're going to get to Dan Schultz in a second. So, Posobiec, before we let you go, I want to thank you for changing your Saturday to come in here. What should people, we're putting up the article, you got a summary of it on National Pulse right now. This intel piece that's dropped in the New York Times combined with the piece in The Guardian calling everybody seditionaries, you're a seditionary or a supporter of a seditionary. What should people be looking for as they look forward the week, the Sunday shows tomorrow, and how they're teeing this up as their narrative, the railhead for their narrative for the trial of President Trump in the Senate?
Completely jumping the shark in all of this. Everyone agrees that there was some level of violence on January 6th, but to call this a seditious attempt to overthrow the government of the United States, you just don't have it. The facts aren't on your side there. Right. These are people who are frustrated. There are people that did break in, and there were people that committed violence. All of that should be charged. But these overcharging that they're going for now in an attempt to undergird their accusations against Donald Trump is going to fail. It's going to fail in the court of public opinion, and it's going to fail in federal court.
How's it going to fail? How's it going to fail in the court? How's it going to fail in the court of public opinion? This is what I'm saying. This is not a legal proceeding that's going on.
Because we've seen the videos. We've all seen the videos of people walking around.
But who's going to put that up? Fox's approach is, oh, this thing's absurd. We shouldn't even talk about it. Tell me, besides
every single member of this audience, every single person who follows me. I was on Tim Pool last night, telling the truth, sharing those videos with your friends. If you were out there and you know that you were part of the 100,000 people that were peaceful, then say that, right? Say that you were peaceful and you were there to uphold the First Amendment as is your right as an American citizen. They're trying to atomize you. They're trying to balkanize and divide this country. And we have to stand up and say, no, there are 75 million of us and we're not going away.
Jack Posobiec, the great reporter over at One America's Voice. Give us your coordinates so people can follow you on Twitter as you and Raheem fight this over the weekend and have really you guys are the lead on the counter narrative.
It's all information. You got to share this information, share the podcast, share the articles at Jack Posobiec, JCKPOSOBIEC. And if you're not on Twitter anymore, go over to Telegram. There's so much discussion. There's so much engagement. It's through the roof. Telegram is where it's at right now.
Wow. You can get us on Telegram, and they got a live chat over there. Telegram at Bannon War Room. No S. Bannon War Room. Go to the official site. I think a couple unofficial. Raheem, before we get to
I'm
Dan
still
Schultz.
waiting for an answer to my question. You know, if this is the greatest domestic terror threat that there is, why are they not rounding up the leaders of the domestic terror group?
You're saying that's a tell.
It's obviously either a tell that they're lying about the level of threat here.
Well, they didn't arrest any of the serious guys in Antifa back in June and July, right? That was all a pass.
But everyone and their mothers weren't telling us that Antifa was the most domestic terror, biggest domestic terror threat in the country. Now we are being told that, yet we're not seeing any of the leaders. You know, where's Q? Why aren't we seeing Q in handcuffs if this is such a important domestic terror threat? As if it's hard for them to find out who these people are and where they live. You know, if there are impending attacks across the country and you're not making arrests right now, then the next time there is an attack, who's going to be held accountable?
Okay, Raheem's going to hang with us. Mike Lindell at the bottom of the hour, trying to get Brian Kennedy at Claremont. I want to now turn to Dan Schultz. And this is the practical. A lot of talk over the last couple of weeks about a new political party. Dan Schultz has been literally hammering this for over a decade. Dan, thank you for joining us, and I want to walk through. We're going to take an hour. We don't have it because of pressing news, but we're bringing Dan back on Monday to get to this because this is essential. If you want to get real about political change, what Dan Schultz is about to tell you is the way to do it. So, Dan, the floor is yours. Take it and tell people how you're about to offer a course on personal political empowerment. How did they do it, Dan?
Thanks, Steve. It's real simple, and most people learn this, at least I did back in the late 60s in 7th grade in social studies in civics class. Essentially, what we have to do is we conservatives have to take over one of the two major political parties. Our party is the one we've been using is the Republican Party. The problem is we're not in control of it. And the reason we're not in control of it is we're not in it. You asked me before I came on, what group are you promoting? And the group I'm promoting is the Republican Party. But you're not in the party unless you're one of these. See, I've got my PC button on. Precinct committeemen. Precinct committeemen are the party. And if you want to put up graphic number 4, it basically explains that there's about 400,000 of these party positions in our party nationwide, but over 200,000 of them are vacant. And the powers that be inside the party running it don't want you to know this. They're never going to tell you this. You'll never get a mailer from them asking you to come into the party and become a precinct committeeman. What we do is we have to take over the party, and there's only one way to do it. The precinct committeemen are the party. The precinct committeemen elect everybody in the party all the way up to the RNC. So, for example, here in Maricopa County where I live, I'm in a precinct. There's 11 slots. I filled up all of the slots. But overall in Maricopa County and in my legislative district committee, we're at about 2/3 of the slots being vacant. And if you put up graphic number 6, I can show you what happens then when half of the slots are vacant in a party. What happens then at the grassroots level for getting out the vote, where the party ought to be strongest in helping to get out the vote, it's vacant. It's at half strength. And what we had going into 2020 and also way back in 2016 is that there were about 100,000 Trump precinct committeemen and about 100,000, I'll just call them, be nice and call them others, and half of the slots were vacant. And then when it came time for electing the committee chairs, the local committee chairs, the county committee chairs, the state committee chairs, and the national committee, the RNC officers, there's 168 RNC members, it's all
Okay, we just lost Dan Schultz. Can we try to get him back up? If not, we just lost the connection. We're going to be pressing this over the days and weeks ahead to make sure people know that you can be empowered. The key takeaway in the first part of this, there are 400,000, Raheem, 400,000 slots for precinct committeemen. And they actually control the Republican Party. They do all the votes. Only 200,000 are filled. And the party makes no effort to get the information out there because they don't want the more, they're going to get more grassroots. Dan, do we have you back?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm still here. Thanks. So the bottom line is this: conservatives, if you really want to do something, everybody's saying, what can I do? What can I do? Here's what you need to do. Find your local county committee. Get in touch with it. Find out if you're in a rural area, you're going to go to your county meeting. If you're in an urban area, you're probably going to go to an assembly district, legislative district, a lesser committee, a smaller committee, closer to where you live. Go to the meeting, be nice, be polite, introduce yourself, say, I want to become a member of this committee. Is there a vacancy in my precinct? You might be able to find that out before you go to the meeting. Get in touch with me. Wherever you live, I'll help you. It's not hard. And then fill the vacant position. The odds are better than 50% that there's a vacancy in your precinct. Volunteer to fill it. Again, you'll be a volunteer. Nobody can, as a precinct committeeman, you're top dog in the party. You elect everybody. You're a volunteer. Nobody can tell you to go stand on the corner with a clipboard and get signatures. You're a volunteer. That's the beauty of our party. It's a private organization. But right now, the party is doing very little because they don't want you. And once a conservative gets elected, they won't talk about this anymore because now they're in office and they don't want to jeopardize their potential of not getting reelected in the primary. Because remember, every incumbent has to stand for 2 elections, the primary and then the general. The primary is the most important election. And if they recruit conservatives into these vacancies and strengthen the party where they live, those conservatives might turn on them come primary time and help elect a better person, a better conservative. So the incumbents won't talk about this. Nobody talks about it, but I've talked about it.
Dan, hang over a second. I just
wrote
want
a book.
Yeah, I want
go
to
ahead.
before we get to the book, I just want to clarify some things. 400,000 billets, 200,000 are taken. They don't advertise this. If somebody shows up and you will help them, we'll get to your site in a second. You will help the audience be able to find out where they can go. What obligations when they go and volunteer? Like, is it weekly meetings? Is it monthly meetings? I mean, and I realize everyone's probably different, but generally, what are people signing up for? If this is the ability to take over the Republican Party, because this is where the votes are, it's a pyramid, and this is the base of the pyramid. What are people signing up for? Because a lot of people say, hey, look, I don't like volunteering because I don't know what's going to be asked of me. What are they committing to?
It's real simple. It varies from state to state. Here in Arizona, there are duties, but you're encouraged to go to the meetings every month. What's great about the meetings is, guess who comes to the meetings? The politicians. When I first became and then the key thing is you elect everybody. So once a year, there's going to be or once every 2 years. In some states, it's once every 4 years. You're going to get to elect your county chairman directly. You're going to elect the officers of your local committee directly. You're going to elect state committeemen who directly elect the state chairman. I was a state committeeman. So were my 3 kids. 2 of them are 20, one's 22. We went to the state meeting. We cast votes directly for the state chairman as state committeeman. You also elect the delegates to the 4-year state presidential nominating convention. The delegates there that you've elected, and you can run for delegate, only the precinct committeemen elect the delegates. The delegates elect the national convention delegates directly, and then they also elect the national committeeman and the woman to a 4-year term on the RNC. That's real political power. We can take over the party if we invade it. And it's, look, if you won't go to a meeting once a month, this isn't for you. And I've told people this since 2009. I told the Tea Partiers this. If you will not at least try this and get involved and take over the party, I can't guarantee you that we'll save the Republic, but I can guarantee you this. We'll lose it. If we conservatives don't take over the Republican Party, we're going to lose our Republic. Because the political party, our party, the Republican Party, is our organization for electing better people. And we just got to do it. And it's so simple. It's so easy. But you got to get off the couch and go to a meeting once a month.
Okay, Dan, hang on.
You don't have to go to the meetings.
Yeah, hang on 1 second. We got to take a commercial break. I'm going to come back and talk about how people can get more information. Here's the key. You don't need to talk about a third party. It's going to cost $1 billion. It's never going to go anywhere. You've got the ability, everybody out there, and it's not going to cost you a dime. Everybody's saying, I need to know what to do. This is an actionable item. Short commercial break. Return with Dan Schultz next. We got Mike Lindell, Brian Kennedy, Raheem Gassam. So much more to get through. When we return on War Room Pandemic.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Okay, our guest is Dan Schultz about taking over the Republican Party, which everybody out in the audience, and Dan, you should know in our live chat, live stream, hashtag War Room Pandemic, it's on fire about what you're saying. One question, though, and this is not meant to be snarky, but one from the audience, saying, hey, in Maricopa County, you've got your precinct and there's other precincts. How was it, in your opinion, was Maricopa, and by the way, I think the state Senate is going to pass a resolution on Monday, Mark Fincham's telling us, that could actually call for the arrest of the Maricopa County supervisors. How was it that Maricopa County ended up being the only county, I think, in Arizona to use the Dominion voting system?
Well, I don't think that's actually accurate. I think Dominion machines were used in other counties as well. I don't recall exactly which ones, but our legislature has done a horrible job overseeing the Secretary of State's office and the Republicans on our County Board of Supervisors. Horrible job getting hoodwinked by Dominion. And that's the long and short of it. We've got to elect better Republicans. We have a lot of Republicans in Arizona, Republicans who aren't really Republicans, but they run as Republicans, and they pretend to be really conservative. Does John McCain ring a bell? Jeff Flake ring a bell? They're charlatans. They're fakes, and we got to do a better job vetting them. First step: get more conservatives into the party, and then when you go to these monthly meetings, these politicians show up. They come to the Lincoln Day dinners and speak. You can walk right up to them and stick your finger on their chest and say, "Why did you do this? Why did you do that?" You got to get involved in the party. And registering to vote means you check the box on a registration form. You got to become a precinct committeeman. The party is there for the taking. And so I'd like to get some of this contact information.
Hang before we get to contact. Another thing, a couple. By the way, you're blowing up here. People love it. A couple of people actually are.
I don't want to get preempted by breaking news.
No. Some of the people that are actually precinct men saying, "Hey, look, it is coming once a month, but you do it." This becomes kind of the leadership or the vanguard, and your responsibilities are really getting out the vote and making sure people are motivated. So it is. Do it if you're prepared to commit the time, because it is time. It's not just coming and voting once a month, although I guess that's a minimum requirement. In reality, to be an active member is to take leadership. You become somebody that drives get out the vote. You drive direction of signing up, not just getting out the vote, of signing up, voter registration, all that. What say you to that?
I say that when I recruit precinct committeemen for my precinct, I tell them right up front, I'm only going to ask you to do two things. At the primary election season, 3 hours of making phone calls and dropping flyers off to the lower information, lower propensity voters in our precinct. When all the precinct, and then in the general election, doing the same thing. I got a system for doing it. It works. My precinct is always at the top of the percentage of Republicans we get to the polls. I think we got 86 or 87% of Republicans to the polls in the general election this go around. Wow. Okay, it's real simple. I've broken it all down. It's real simple. I've got videos that explain how to do it. And again, it varies from state to state. In Florida, you got to jump through all sorts of hoops. You got to go to 2 or 3 meetings to become a precinct committeeman. Then you have to get voted in at the meeting, and then there are monthly meeting requirements. You have to go to so many meetings a year, or you'll lose your right to be a precinct committeeman. But that's Florida. Arizona's totally different. To run in the primary, you have to get 9 signatures from registered Republicans in your voting precinct. You can get a walking sheet to do that. It takes about 45 minutes to get the signatures. And then once you've done it a couple of times, you go to the same people, and they always will sign for you. I've never had somebody turn me down.
Let's give the access.
9 signatures plus yours.
How do people look? People are overwhelmingly saying on the live chat they want to volunteer. So walk through all the contact information. Where do they go? How do they find more information?
Okay.
How can you assist them?
Well, if you can put up slide number 22, the first place to go is the precinctproject.wordpress.com. That's my little blog where I've compiled anything and everything I've been able to find on the internet about how it works in other states. So I've got something for every state. Sometimes it's a video, sometimes it's bylaws of a county committee, sometimes it's a state bylaws, sometimes it's tutorial videos. Then another site is rightlanenetwork.com. And I want to give a shout out to my 2 cohorts, Barbara Medell and Kimber Hattendorf. What we did is we created our own site because some of the sites here in Arizona, they're not very good. So we created our own. We've got tutorial videos. There's a button at the top to click on. I think it's called PC.
By the way, hang on one
portal.
second. I want everybody in the live chat that's signing up now, because we're being overwhelmed. People signing up. I want you to hit and tell us as you go on. And want to know people are signing up or people are going information. Just hit us in the live chat. Keep going, Dan.
Okay. And then my email is acoldwarrior@gmail.com. I have a book where I've laid this all out. It's real short, inexpensive. It's basically what's on my website, but it's a nice thing to have in your hand when you go to the meetings. It's got the Constitution in it, the Declaration as well. On Twitter, I'm Dan Schultz, number 2, and then I'm on Gab, I'm on MeWe, I'm on Parler when it comes back, I'm on Cloud Hub. Basically, find me on there is just search precinct and committeeman, and I've set up groups on all of those platforms, and you can find me there.
Dan, hang on 1 second. Just give the title of the book. Give us the title of the book, and how can people get the book? They're already asking.
It's a real catchy title. How to get into the real ball game of politics where you live to help President Donald J. Trump make America great again. So if you go to Amazon, it's an Amazon Kindle paperback. If you go to Amazon and put in Trump, Schultz, book, Make America Again, you'll find it.
Perfect. Keep going, sir.
And it's also in ebook format, and I think it's free if you're, Amazon Prime, the ebook.
Well, now, let me ask you. We got a couple of minutes left
But
here.
it might help if you can put up the graphic number 22, which has all the contact information.
Can we do that, guys? Can we get
Rather than
20?
me just-
Let's get 22 up, and we can stop looking at Dan Schultz or even put in or Steve Bannon. Oh, there we are. Okay, walk people through.
Better than looking at me.
Dan, walk them through this chart again. This presentation page. Just walk them through, because we have a podcast audience and a huge radio audience that can't see the visual. Just walk people through.
Which visual are you talking about now?
It would be 22.
Oh, 22. Well, 22 is my contact information for the Precinct Committeeman strategy. So the first site is theprecinctproject.wordpress.com. Then and there you'll find everything. And just nose around on it. There's something for every state. There's, like I said, there's videos. Then rightlanenetwork.com. That's a labor of love of ours here in Arizona. We've got there's a chat forum that you can join, but we vet you. You're only going to come in if you're a conservative. rightlanenetwork.com, and the first place to click there is PC Portal, the PC Portal button. And then scroll down, you'll see there's tutorial videos. There's even videos of Steve Bannon, 2 videos of him at We Build the Wall things, telling people this is what you got to do. You got to become a precinct committeeman. They're great videos. And then my book is at the precinctproject.wordpress.com. You can email me at acoldwarrior@gmail.com. I post occasionally on Twitter. I'm probably going to get off of Twitter. Dan Schultz, number 2, Dan Schultz 2. And like I said, on Gab, I'm at Cold Warrior, MeWe, Daniel.Schultz. Parler, when it comes back, Precinct Kofifi, CloudHub.com. I am Cold Warrior 1978. And on each one of those platforms, I've created a group with the words Precinct Committeeman or Precinct Committeeman Strategy in the group name. So you can find those groups there. I haven't done much with them yet, but you can do it, out there, dear listener.
Okay.
You can get involved. But
Okay.
First step, you got to become a precinct committeeman. You got to seek out your county committee, find out where your meeting is, go to the meeting, volunteer.
Here's what I want. I want everybody to pound in right now to Dan Schultz's information. This guy is been saying this. It's now time to do it. Stop talking about a third party. Your opportunity to take over the Republican Party is all about your agency. That's what Schultz keeps saying. This is all about you. This is all about your agency. For all the unwashed masses in the MAGA movement, the deplorables, we've got many more than 400,000 people that listen to this site. We got 34 million downloads on the podcast. It's one of the biggest shows in the world. I want people pounding into Dan Schultz today, right now. This is your call to action. Yes,
And
sir.
I know all of this can sound a little dry to people, but the reality is the question that keeps arising is, what can we do? And sometimes what you can do, it takes a little process to it. But
It's the grind.
Dan's laying it all out for you. Take advantage.
Dan, thank you very much. We got to bounce. We got Mike Lindell next. I want to thank you for all your efforts. You've been in this wilderness for a long time. It's a path to not just power; it's a path to victory. So really appreciate it. We look forward to having you on back next week. We want to do follow-up. Our site's on fire right now because of this, because of Dan Schultz. So, Dan, thank you very much for joining us from Maricopa County, Arizona.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, we got to, by the way, we're trying to figure out how to go live to Wyoming to make sure that you're hearing. I think, Raheem, we've got the empty chair of Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney so far is a no-show. You got Joey Correnti, the fourth, and the rest of the great patriots out in Wyoming. They're having the censure meeting today, and they're also asking her to resign many of the counties. We're going to return with Mike Lindell in a moment.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Okay, we're going to break some news from Wyoming. Officials there have just told us that Liz Cheney has told them she will not be appearing today to answer the charges for her censure, and for many of the counties in Wyoming, overwhelmingly voting for her to resign as their congressman. It says that she has called into chamber to vote and would not be able to travel back in time. Gave no other explanations or contents about her vote. We're going to be following that. It looks like they're not going to be able to live stream, so we're going to be trying to keep up with through Raheem and others today at Real America's Voice. So this is very important. The censure meeting by the state committee of all the different counties taking place right now in Rawlins, Wyoming, and we hear there's an empty chair there for Liz Cheney. She has not deemed it worthy, her folks out there are worthy that come back and for her to defend her vote. Mr. Raheem Kassam?
I've tweeted that picture. People can go and see her empty chair.
Go on to Raheem. What's your Twitter?
At Raheem Kassam.
And so Raheem's still up. Steve Bannon, of course, I never was on Twitter, but the show was on Twitter. They got pulled down when we showed the receipts. We showed all of Hunter Biden. The guy just got a $2 million advance for selling us out to the Chinese Communist Party, right? We had the wire transfers, we had the receipts, we had the joint venture agreements, had his retainer agreement, all that. We tweeted it out constantly, nonstop on the War Room Twitter, and they took it down. Of course, they said, "Oh, we took it down because you were about Dr. Fauci."
Twitter's valuation as a company would fall too much if they took me off.
Exactly. So I want to go now and get Mike Lindell. Mike, first off, I want to ask you, just so people understand this, from concept to completion, how long was it that you took to put your 2-hour film together?
About six days, and that was a big crew. We were working about 21 hours a day. Bannon House, and it just an amazing place. We put it together, and they worked. That's editing. That's everything, and it's beautiful. I know the media tried to make it. They tried to bash it. That they did it in 6 hours. Well, you look at it, and you would have thought it was done in 3 months because it's so well done.
Yeah, I want to get to the media bashing in a second, but I want to go to how many people do you estimate, and walk us through how you get to this estimate. How many people do you estimate have seen it since it started playing yesterday at 10 o'clock in the morning on One American News? How many people do you estimate have seen this?
Well, I know over 5 million have watched it to completion. We have a tracker on that, but that's just on my site. Okay. So where it went far and wide, I don't know, but over 10 million we can account for that have actually looked at it. We don't know how long they've seen it, watched it in entirety. But that number, the average watch time on my specific michaeljlindell.com was 1 hour and 53 minutes. Well, it's only 2 hours long.
How are people getting feedback? Do you have a live chat they can go to, put comments? I mean, what's generally the feedback? Because obviously you hope that more than just people that follow War Room and others go see it. What kind of feedback you gain so far from people? I'm going to get to the media and to your opposition in a second.
Right. everybody is like, why didn't this come out sooner? Why didn't anybody do anything about it? Why didn't the DOJ and the FBI step in? I mean, if this was, all the stuff that was out there, and I guess they're amazed. They're like, what? But you got to realize, for a lot of this came out, was just exposed in, at least for myself, was January 9th. And I don't know, there's a lot of other people that knew about it, and they'd even warned the government. So I guess it's a lot of surprise, and then it's also a lot of hope. A lot of people are going, wow, is this finally now, let's get it out there, because there's no statute of limitations on a crime against humanity of this magnitude, of any magnitude, but this is, beyond belief. So I think it gave people a lot of hope. Everybody's going, okay, now what? And it's everybody, and it's been amazing that many, even in spite of them trying to stop this, that everybody's sending it to their friends. They go, you got to see this, and I just can't stop reading the comments. I mean, because it's not one negative one. Wow, you nailed it. I didn't expect that this would be the smoking gun like it is. I didn't expect that this was going to be just hardcore evidence. Okay. And there is other stuff when they build it up. So
hey, let's go. I want to go to what is you refer to as evidence, and obviously the people that don't agree with you refer to as your opinion. So I want to specifically go One American News. The Herrings have done such a fantastic job. You got Chanel Rion, you got Christina Bobb, you've got Jack Posoba, you got all these young great reporters. Their packages are very tight. You launched yesterday, not just on your site, but you really launched from a cable news point of view on One America. You guys were very open that you made a deal to buy the time, and there's a disclaimer up, and the disclaimer is, right. And I'd like to just talk a second about that disclaimer. I take it, since you bought the time, did you want the disclaimer up? Did you talk to the One America guys? Is that really did you drive that to make sure that disclaimer was up there?
Well, I said whatever you guys need to do, because that, at least they're brave enough to go out there and put this out there, because you have places, every other cable channel is not going to put this out there, because why? Because Smartmatic and Dominion sued them or threatened to sue them. I mean, isn't that funny that the perfect timing that Smartmatic comes in and sues Fox yesterday and gets rid of Lou Dobbs? I mean, this is just, it's how brave of OAN to do that. And I said, put something up there so it protects you, and so that they know it's coming from me. It doesn't mean the evidence isn't evidence. It's 100% proof. That's why it's called absolute proof.
Okay, that's what I want. But on the internet and your opposition, I just want to make sure they're saying, hey, the title of the film is absolute proof, and what Mike Lindell puts forward, his thesis is backed by what he calls evidence. But when you look at the disclaimer, the guy's actually airing it or distributing it, or essentially saying this is absolute Mike's opinion. What say you to that?
Well, it kind of helped, because it went viral on Twitter. It went viral all over Twitter and all over YouTube and stuff. It went viral going, Mike Lindell, they put up this disclaimer on OAN. And then everybody's going, well, let's go see what it is. Well, then they realized they were advertising for OAN, so they shut everything down. I mean, these guys don't know what to do with me. They're going, okay, blah, 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 let's do this, let's do that. So, I guess it's if you want to try and suppress this now, it doesn't work, because all you're doing is making more and more exposure. Steve, it's kind of like this. Yesterday, for 12 days in a row, I got called from CNN, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, every day, nonstop, every day. I told them, you guys just wait till Friday. It's all coming out on Friday. Call me Friday. Quit bashing me saying I don't have the 100% proof. Guess what, Steve? Nobody called me yesterday. Zero.
That's a pretty big tell. Let's go to this, because we talked to Rudy earlier about using the venue this week of the impeachment trial to actually get his evidence, which is some of more of the lower hanging fruit in there about the voter fraud, all that. But with you, I know we reached out to the Dominion guys. We'd love to have them come on and do the counter argument. But have you reached out? I know they've been in contact with you. Have you reached out to actually say, hey, look, I say it's proof. You say it's lies. I say it's fact. You say it's fiction. let's sit down and go through this, and we do it either live if you don't trust me, or we can sit in a room. I'll go through it frame by frame. Have you made that request, or have you made that invitation? And if you have not, are you prepared to do it?
I'm going to do that today. And what I want to do, though, there's a condition on there. The condition is that it would have to be with media there. Let's make it like a live, because I don't want their lies to come out of a room. I want the American public to see it. If there's nothing to hide, let's both sit there. Let's do it. Steve, what about on your show? I mean, if they'll come on, I will come on with them. I will have all the, the backup of the backup of the backup to show, and let them discredit and say what's a lie. Yesterday, a big article came out, and it said it was on the social media, and said Mike Lindell's absolute proof tells 3 lies. There's 3 lies. Here was the lies. One is Dominion. Is not corrupt or whatever. This did not happen. The second one is Smartmatic is good, and the third one is another company. I mean, they're basically saying that that the whole thing is not true, because all the evidence points to the machines. Everything, not points to it, is through means everything.
And look, I want to go back to Dominion in a second and make sure. So you're saying that if you would do it, it'd be unconditional except for one condition. You would want to have the media, and by media you mean CNN, MSNBC. It doesn't have to be One America and Newsmax. They could do it also, but you'd be open to any media want to be there. New York Times reporters, Guardian reporters, anybody, as long it was in a place that was open and fair, you would present it. They could counter it with anything they wanted to say. Because remember, you're saying it's absolute proof. They're saying it's absolute opinion. You're saying it's absolute fact. They're saying this is absolute fiction. So there's no middle ground here. It doesn't look like there's any middle ground. You're adamant. You've got subject matter experts. You've got a cable news thing that you are buying the time, but they've put it up with a big disclaimer. So it's out there. It's got 5 million, 10 million people today. It'll clearly metastasize, right? So is this a challenge to them? Are you trying to challenge these guys? Because obviously you're going to have your day in court. I mean, you're one of the guys I think you're already named in the suits. I might be incorrect. I think you're already named in the suits. So you're going to have your day in court. You're going to have your day of discovery. Is your offer now stand at any time, any place, like old Fresno State, anytime, any place that you will meet Dominion and do this?
Right, but you're incorrect on one thing. Dominion has not sued me. I don't even think they've threatened to sue me. They send me letters like, Mike, in your documentary, if you have these people in there, this isn't real. Let us know who's going to be in your documentary. So my reach out is, and then I got the other letter that said, you have been warned, like some mafia letter from back when I was a kid. So they haven't sued me, Steve. Here's the deal. I will take them. You're exactly right. Bring the media there. I don't care how long. I'll sit there for a week with you. We'll do it every day. We'll make it like a little trial thing. Because if you don't, let me tell you what I'm doing. I am going after Dominion and Smartmatic. I'm going after them with a lawsuit. If this doesn't all come out to the public and they all get exposed and show what happened in our election, because it's going to get out there. Or my next step is I sue Dominion. And when I sue Dominion, then it has to come out in court. And I'll make sure that that's public. So either do it now or let's just do it now and save time. How about it, Dominion? How about it?
So can I ask you, Mike, what grounds would you sue Dominion and Smartmatic on? You say you're going to sue them. What grounds? We got about a minute, and then we'll hold you over the break. What grounds would you sue them on?
I guess, I don't know that yet, but it'd be crimes against our country that they use lies. Their machines were all online. We've got them saying that they don't go online, and it's right in their manual that they go online. We've got proof that they were online. We've got all the evidence. So it would be, I don't know I actually have lawyers looking at that right now, what can be charged. In fact, Steve, the next time I'm on your show, I guarantee I'll have those charges against Dominion.
So, Mike, let's take a short commercial break. Mike Lindell throwing napalm on a burning fire, okay, as only he can do. He's the star producer and actually got the back of this film. Mike Lindell's absolute proof. The New York Times says it's a fever dream of Mike Lindell. We're going to discuss all that with Mike Lindell, the CEO of MyPillow. When we return, Raheem Kassam, Stephen K. Bannon, War Room Pandemic. We're going to return in just a moment.
We're taking down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all lied for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Okay, we're honored to have as our guest America's #1 honey badger. That would be Mike Lindell. He's CEO of MyPillow, also my company, and I think to his heart, most importantly, the Lindell Recovery Center, which is a biblically based, Christian-based recovery center or network, recovery network. For people that have issues with drugs and alcohol. I want to also reiterate to Dominion, we've reached out to them anytime, any place. We would love to have them come on the show, either with Mike Lindell or just by themselves to counter what Mike Lindell's putting out. Any spokesman for them or any executives would love to have you guys on here because this has got to get sorted. This is another thing I talk about, this great wound of November 3rd. This has to get sorted. And now Mike Lindell has offered up to do it live on global media, whatever that global media is, if it's BBC, Guardian, all of them, get in a room, and he will go through frame by frame his film with his with his evidence and other backup evidence, and have the guys challenge that. Or eventually, I guess he's going to sue you. Mike, just one thing in your business, in the Recovery Network. I mean, they've tried to put you out of business, the big boxes, etc. Since you released this atomic weapon on Friday, and it's been refuted by all your opponents and the guys in the media have been. This has been met with derision, right? They're saying it's all wrong, it's all fiction. He's got a bunch of nutcases up there on TV with him. New York Times columnist refers to it as Mike Lindell's fever dream. So, has any other pressure come on your business since this launched yesterday at 10 a.m. on One America News? Have you had any additional pressure, big box, suppliers, vendors, ad agencies? What has happened with your business or the Recovery Network since you launched this?
Well, we've had churches that actually were going to come on board the Lindell Recovery Network, and they're hesitant. All of a sudden, they don't answer our calls, but that's they're just afraid of cancel culture. And my employees, though, I want to tell you this. All my employees have just stepped it up, and one of them even said, Mike, why don't you're going on the show today, use promo code PROOF. So if you want any listeners out there, if you want to use promo code PROOF, save up to 66% off my stuff on mypillow.com. My employees were up to over 2,700 now. We're getting busier, but they keep canceling out, and you're right, Mattress Firm this week that joined and Shop HQ. I mean, these guys, they're trying to smash all of our outlets where we do business, and it's sad. And one more last thing on the Dominion, Steve. I want to tell everybody right now, I just decided, I got an epiphany. If Dominion doesn't agree to meet, I'm going to spend all day today finding out how I can sue them, and I will go after them, because we got to get the truth out. And when I go after people in a lawsuit, it's not for money. I don't care about the money. It's to bring out the truth. If you can't get the truth out of someone, let's go to court and let the truth be told.
Okay, so I just want to make sure we reframe this, that you're offering to meet at any time, any place, and go through this in any level of detail if it takes days or weeks to go through it frame by frame with all the evidence, and your only condition is you need live media there, and I'm sure One America and others, but you'll take BBC, Guardian, whatever, to do it live so that everything can be shown and be recorded. And if they don't agree to meet with you sometime here shortly, you're going to work today, and you're committing to your followers and to other people out in the country, and even your opponents and people that hate you, that you're going to go to court and you're going to sue Dominion.
I will go after him if there's a way to do it. I will do that for the American people. The truth needs to come out. So if the truth does not come out here, if they keep suppressing it, that's what other recourse do I have? I've got to bring them to court in Smartmatic, bring them all to court, and because you got to have discovery then. And I already got what they're not trying to show you. So I would absolutely, Steve. We're going to get this out there one way or another.
Last thing, and we're only a couple left, but I got to bring this up. Raheem had something to jump about. I got to ask this question first, Raheem. You went on a religious channel, a YouTube channel the other night, and said, hey, if this does not get vetted and not come up and we don't get to the bottom of this, this is going to start. I think you actually started talking about the end times. I just want to make sure you've got a couple of minutes here. Where do you think the country is? And if this is not vetted, because they're making it out like you're saying, hey, the world's going to end. What was your thoughts the other night, and what do you think is going to happen if this does not get vetted?
Well, I think we're going down a communist path. The socialism is coming in here. Everybody can look what happened in Nazi Germany. I mean, we're going down. It's happening so fast. When I see and experiencing the cancellation of people, canceling out people's jobs, they don't exist. When you take away all communication, this is like and when you take away the communications, you take away anybody that can talk. Now it's this one world order. The stuff's in Revelation. That's what I was talking about. And you combine that with this vaccine that's Mark of the Beast stuff. I mean, this is horrible. Keeping us indoors. I mean, I could do a whole nother show on just this China virus. I guess you're not supposed to say that. There's a thing out now. You're not supposed to say China virus.
CCP virus, the Chinese Communist Party virus. Okay, so you go to My Pillow and use the code word proof. Real quickly, Raheem, only got a minute.
Mike, very quickly, 4 questions. They're all yes or no questions. They're not trick questions. I really want to understand. Do you think what you're saying is false? Do you think what you're reporting is false?
Not only is it 100% true,
right?
It's not even a sliver of room for wiggle. There's no.
So you believe it to be true.
Wiggle room.
So you believe it to be true. Have you caused Dominion any damages? Have you caused them to lose any business through this reporting?
No, not that I know of.
No.
That's why they haven't sued me.
Does the media describe you as a credible figure?
No.
And have they caused? You mentioned that people aren't picking up your calls now. Have they caused you damages? You say you can't get calls back now for yourself. Have they caused you damages?
Right. Huge damages.
Right.
Beyond
so I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer.
Right.
I'm not a lawyer. But it's really interesting how this stacks up in terms of a defamation
Mike,
case.
just last second, we only got 30 seconds. Does Dominion know how to get a hold of your lawyers? I mean, I think they sent you letters or warnings before. There's no doubt the Dominion executives hear this. They know how to get in touch with Mike Lindell?
Oh, they directly. Are you kidding me? They directly email me. So I'm going to reach out to them. You just found out defamation. I guess that would be the number one on the lawsuit I have against Dominion. So,
Mike,
they'll reach out. Dominion, they can reach right out.
We got to bounce. You're doing the Lord's work, Mike Lindell, a fighter. Dominion, you got full shot. Take it. Get in touch with him. We'd love to have you guys on. Love to have Dominion on. And what we'd really love to do is have both of you on. Mike, thank you so much for being on War and Pandemic.